On today's podcast episode of Identity Unboxed, I will have the chance to dive deeply into the topic of gender and sexualities. You might be thinking, why such a controversial topic? Well, exploring this topic, especially in this generation, allows us all to foster the ideas of inclusivity, empathy, and social justice in society. As a whole, we are all able to gain an insight into the complexities of human identity and experience, recognizing the diverse spectrum of genders and sexualities. A bunch of questions were given to me by you guys, the audience, and unfortunately, we only have time for three. Get comfortable, listeners, grab a snack, and get ready to embark on an eye opening journey as we speak about the complex topic of gender and sexualities. Let's get to it. The first, most popular asked question was, how do cultural and social factors impact the construction and perception of gender identities and sexual orientations? Cultural and social factors play a significant role in shaping our understanding and perception of gender identities and sexual orientations. Ways like cultural norms and expectations, religious beliefs, socializations, language, and discourse can all greatly impact these constructs. Cultures across the world establish standards for individuals to match their sex role prescriptions and feel psychologically well adjusted. This quote by Natasha from the Medium allows us to dissect how culture has established a set of standards for individuals. Whether male or female or other, culture plays a significant role in shaping how gender and sexuality is seen, understood, and molded. Being born one way but characteristically acting symbolic of the other might in some cultures be seen as deviant, forcing individuals to hide, be shameful, and rebel. Cultural norms can also influence how individuals understand and express their own gender and sexual orientation. These cultural norms and expectations limit perceptions of gender identities and social and sexual orientations by forming frames of what gender and sexuality is, therefore creating constrictions to these ideologies. People are educated about social standards regarding gender and sexuality from an early age. This education often comes from various sources, including your family, friends, multimedia outlets, and educational systems. This forms our societal comprehension of what it means to be of a certain gender, such as female or male or any other gender identity, and what is deemed appropriate or usual regarding sexual orientations. Understanding these cultural and social factors is crucial for promoting inclusivity, acceptance, and understanding of diverse gender identities and sexual orientations. It requires us all to challenge traditional norms and foster the ideas of empathy and social justice. The next question picked is, how do media representations and popular culture narratives influence perceptions of gender roles and identities, and what are their effects on social attitudes and behaviors? Media representations and popular culture narratives play a significant role in shaping perceptions of gender roles and identities. They have a profound influence on social attitudes and behaviors in several ways. Let's be honest, we all spend most of our time surfing the internet, whether that be by watching the news, scrolling on TikTok, or listening to your favorite podcast. All these kinds of media platforms have different opinions, ideas, and views on various topics, more specifically gender and sexuality. There are many negative impacts that media has towards this ideology. Media often places stereotypes of men and women, reinforcing traditional gender roles. It also sets an influence of representation, whether it might be under or misrepresentation of gender and sexual orientation. Media plays a great role in influencing its directions. There is a quote that really captured my attention by Julia Wood from the Gendered Media. This constant distortion tempts us to believe that there really are more men than women, and further, that men are cultural standard. Media being the main form of communication and connection to and with the world, its effects are long-lasting and greatly influential on shaping social norms. By consistently portraying a certain angle and voice, either positive or negative, media can reinforce these norms, making it challenging to change and or accept them. Continuing our exploration, let's delve deeper into the complexities of religion and its impact on gender and sexuality. Recognizing that religion has historically had a substantial influence on how people view gender and sexuality is the first step on our path. Religious teachings have frequently been used to stigmatize non-conforming identities and reinforce traditional gender standards. This draws our attention to the regrettable fact that some readings of religious texts have fostered discrimination against LGBTQ plus people, causing them to be marginalized in religious communities. However, things are not always simple. There is a range of viewpoints found in religious traditions. According to Philotheus, he claims that it clarifies the initiatives of progressive religious leaders and communities that oppose these interpretations and promote the acceptance, inclusion, and acknowledgement of LGBTQ plus rights. They want to promote a more inclusive perspective of gender and sexuality through theological reflection and critical interpretation of sacred texts. Shifting gears, let's explore the influence of culture on gender and sexuality. Opinions regarding gender and sexuality are greatly influenced by culture. Cultural events, customs, and social norms frequently uphold heteronormative ideas and gender binary thinking. Globalization and cultural interchange, however, have also made other gender identities and sexual orientations more visible and accepted. Despite the historical constraints and regulations placed on gender and sexuality by religion and society, these same forces also have the capacity to reform and liberate. People and communities can establish environments where different identities are valued and celebrated by having critical conversations and questioning oppressive conventions. We may work towards a society that is more inclusive and equitable for all people through this continuous process of introspection and cultural change. Thank you guys so much for listening to Identity Unboxed, and I hope you enjoyed.